First free coaching session here. Let's start by checking the rune page here. This is just a straight up copy, so that's good. Attack speed, movement speed, health, that's completely fine. I think I started valuing attack speed, scaling health, tenacity over everything else. A Rampart review, imagine. And you're even doing this as well. You collect the 2 chimes and see. So, do you understand what we're doing here? Because we generally want to actually move over here and see to help the Malzahar go for ward. So you want to ping for him to go to ward, and if the Yasuo or whoever moves up to try to stop him from warding, then we are there to defend the Malzahar and retaliate. You know? So we are not here just standing, we want Malzahar to ward. And then when Yasuo clicks up to defend the ward, then we can retaliate on him. I think we're gonna do a 2-time speed up, since there's no reason to spend a full 33 minutes. Your Caitlyn clicked into this lane too early. This is not on you. You are in lane at the time you needed to be. You want to be placing yourself down here instead of Caitlyn, because right now, when you're up here, she has far less place to play on, right? You want to give her as much space to play on, so you generally want to put yourself in the brushes to try to create as much space. You automatically being here forces the enemy bot lane over here, or toward this. No matter what, you gain a lot from it. When you stand up here, you minimize how much space Caitlyn has to play in. This trade here, just to slow it down a bit, you can see here, right? Here you're breaking the fundamental rule of League of Legends. You're trading where they are on a straight line while you're too far ahead of the Caitlyn. This means when you go up an auto attack or Q, one of these two, Caitlyn can immediately follow up on it. She has to spend time clicking upwards before she can follow up, while these two are on a straight line and can instantly help each other, so you're guaranteed to lose this trade. Never trade in front of your Caitlyn unless you have the brush where you can return into Fog of War. So always play on a straight line with your Caitlyn. Never in front of her, never behind her. Unless you have brush control. You can see how you do it here again, right? And it's leading to bad trades. It is leading to so many bad. Is this coaching session? Read the Twitch title, Basuski. Read the Twitch title. Oh my god, Senna fucking ran it. Wait, is this a fucking Alistair jungle? He's killed 1 camp in 1 minute? Oh my god. Oh well. He's in trouble, dude. He's done 1 camp while Viego has done 5. God damn. What elo is this? Gold. It's gold. Alistair just walks in here. He has no flash. You get a quick heal for an assist. You don't take the kill. Oh, you do take the... So, like, it's never bad for you to take the kills. He did 2, though? No, he did only 1. When he ganked here, he had only done 1. 1 camp is 4 CS. You can see how he's only done 4 CS here. When he is here. 1 camp is 4 CS. That's why when you do a full clear, which is Gromp, Blue Buff, Wolf, Raptor, Red Buff, and Crux, that's 24 CS because it's 6 camps. When they do the 7th, which is one of the Skull Crabs, there will be a 28 CS. He has done 2 camps now. When he dies here. That's a disaster for him. Completely neutral wave state here, which means it can go either way depending on who pushes. They're both pushing. You have to ask yourself here, when you're actively auto-attacking these minions, do you want this lane to be a short lane or a long lane for yourself? Because generally speaking, if you want to punish these two as much as possible, you want them to actually push into you, so you can make the lanes long for them. which means you don't want to push this lane at all. While if you're not looking to try to trade into them too much, you want to make the lane short for them, long for you, and you hit the tower instead. But you need to have a goal in mind of why am I hitting these minions. Removing vision while the minion wave is still alive is never a good idea. So your first choice is always pushing the minion wave to the tower, then you go clear out vision. The wave is in front of that turret, which means it's super hard for Caitlyn to ever click up here. So when you leave for chimes, when you leave the lane here, she will have a hard time actually playing the lane. This is the times where when you roam, that your AD carry randomly dies, because the wave is pushing into them, not into Caitlyn. You can only roam when the wave is pushing into Caitlyn, and she's safe to also farm on the turret in a 2v1. This situation here is a bad situation for Caitlyn, and you should not be roaming. Good stun there. Now we hit this once. So we want to push one more wave here, like this wave, and then we want to reset as fast as we can. Okay, if she resets, we reset. That's completely fine. 1600. It's better to... Are you just gonna... So it's better to have Ruby, Winged Moonplate, and a Cloth armor than having these two combined. You always value 150 HP over having 25 more armor. So try to not end up in this situation. For the movement speed, it's more so to maximize... HP is more important than armor. So you could right now have 350 HP but only 15 armor, or you could have 200 HP and 40 armor. HP has way more value early game than armor does. Because armor gives you value off of how much HP you have. If you have no HP, then armor has 0 value. Well, not 0, but lesser value, right? Yeah, that's not a lot you can do. Good stun. Oh. Yeah. Not gonna talk too much about the micro things, right? Because it's really hard for me to really say this, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, right? It's all about the way you're clicking your macro and your itemization. That's all the things I'm gonna sit and talk about. You're returning to bot lane when there's a ton of things happening around mid side, which means that you're going from you're opening up on this wrong lane. You should open up from base to mid instead of base to bot and then go into mid. You're wasting time basically doing this. When you are in base, when you're either recalling or you're on death timer, you need to scout out how the lane states are looking everywhere, and then figure out where do you think the next thing is going to happen on the map, and then try to place yourself in that space. How likely do you think it is to try to kill a Yasuo here when Melza has no ult? Realistically 0%, right? He's always going to win wall your damage, and Melza has no way to set him down. So here you're wasting HP and you're wasting momentum. Melza doesn't need you in this situation. He will be able to farm just fine in a 1v1. So you're just taking experience away from him. You're showcasing on the map where you are, which means that bot and top side can play way different than they normally could. And you're taking experience away from the Melza as well, while also losing your own HP bar, which is not great, because it makes you want to reset earlier than you would want to normally. This wave down here is a bit frustrating, because these ranged minions are not gonna die 100... okay, never mind, they do. So with this in mind, right, this lane is gonna guarantee to push into your side, so you don't have to go bot side here. Only reason to go bot side here is because you believe you can kill them. If you go bot side for other reasons here, when Caitlyn doesn't need you, you're basically wasting momentum. Instead, you should have looked to go topside, where your Viego was clean towards, because there's a very likely a fight gonna happen up here, either around White Grubs, or the Jax Olaf lane. Fancy a treat? Get a lovely kill bot side, but you lose the White Grubs top side. I think that's a completely valid trade-off. I've been in this situation so many times, I'm not gonna give you anything for that. Where you underestimate the damage and you end up ulting and then the ult never made sense to do. The portal is not good, right? A great space for the Alistar, he could take it. You should look to reset directly after the Alistar. You have so much gold right now, right? Like, you quite literally have Deadman's Blade if you reset. Like, with Alistar dead, this Dragon is completely fine for Viego to take alone. Cancelling a recall once again here. So you're wasting a lot of tempo right now, where you need to get back on the map while to be as strong as you need to be, right? Whenever you have a power spike and there's no need for you to stay on the map, you shouldn't stay on the map. Running bot side when your Caitlyn is dead is complete waste of time. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do. Instead, look to either open mid lane or top lane, where things will happen. Because like this lane is pushing into Caitlyn while she's dead. So you're just gonna spend the next 40 seconds now doing nothing. And wasted time is bad time, just like it is when you're wasting a tempo, right? Against Thresh, you either always ult the Thresh, or you wait for his Lantern to be out before you ult. You never engage with your ult. So what was happening here? You just decided to move up while Caitlyn left. Caitlyn is going for honey fruits, I guess. Yeah. Just not very good communication between you two. You're not aware that she's leaving, and she's not communicating that she's leaving. Ooh, nice. Good escape. Good escape. Red team turret has been destroyed. Going bot lane again when these people are obviously gonna recall. Once again here, we're wasting tempo, right? What rank is this? This is gold. This is gold elo. Autopilot game, honestly, but most of the time when you're gonna be autopiloting, right? Like, if you are like, because like mechanically you don't seem too bad at your champion, right? I can see that much in the first 15 minutes. But a lot of your choices are just without thought behind it, right? You're just clicking from one point to the other point that you're used to doing. It's the same when you just go to remove a ward or collect chimes without fixing wave states first, right? You're doing a lot of the things without thinking. And the easiest part for you to fix this is continuously asking, what do I need to do next, right? Where am I needed? Where can I make the biggest difference? And you do that by basically always just glancing over on the minimap on the minion wave states, which direction is the minions pushing, right? Because I would say you're probably plat mechanically, but you're silver with your macro decisions, right? Which is why you have landed yourself in gold right now. If you can fix your macro, you're gonna quickly rise up to plat, without a doubt in my mind. Because that's where your mechanics are. Whee! Oh. Good try. He doesn't even think to consider freezing at all in this laning. In this elo, that's not something he ever has to sit and consider. Looking at wave stats is 100% incredibly important for him, but like the main point, as you can see in this game, right? You died bot lane, Caitlyn died bot lane, and then you walk from base down to bot side again. Even though there's nothing's gonna happen bot side. Your teammates are seating mid lane, which means they want to have vision on the sides of the siege here to help them against any type of flanks in the future. And it's not something like he needs to be on the same wavelength as the AD carry there. That's not something you can expect in gold. You have to play to the elo you're in and change your strategy depending on the elo. So when you're playing in an elo where you know for a fact the AD carry is not going to consider these things, and then you need to think about the things that your AD carry wants to do. Because you have to adapt to your AD carry instead of trying to force them to adapt to you. So the advice you're giving here is not good advice for the elo he's in currently. It's good advice for if he was Diamond or Master. Then it's great advice. But you have to understand that every elo plays in a different way. And what elo are you, Kosti? Same, gold. So that doesn't actually help then, right? Because if you're doing all of these things and you're the same elo as he is, then that's not the solution. Not trying to be mean here at all, but it is a showcase that you're focusing on the wrong things, right? You're trying to make the game a lot more convoluted than it is. It's about the small, simple things, right? And you're trying to make it way more advanced than it is. The League is not an advanced game in any way, but a lot of people want to make it super, super advanced. While you're trying to think, oh, to win this game, I have to freeze and deny CS. Generally not. A lot of the time when you're playing this elo, just mindlessly pushing the minion wave and getting the jungler to gank you on repeat without dying is the best strategy. The poor Thresh keeps DCing. The main issue this bar player here has, Mr. Cosmide, right, is not mechanically. The issue is that he keeps going from base to bot lane. The issue is that the wards are generally not placed like they want to be, right? If we look at this, right, this is very overlapping vision that doesn't actually cover a lot of angles, right? So instead, when you want to, let's say you want to play mid to bot because you want to have dragon, then you want to have a ward here, you want to have a ward here, and then you can consider having a ward down here. Then you have a straight line of vision where they can't break into anywhere without them crossing your vision. Then you have free reign over the river, and the only thing you need to constantly have made sure of is that you're pushing mid and bot lane, right? Try to minimize that what we call triangle warding here, because triangle warding has very overlapping vision. They're exclusive to support games. I don't care about whether it being bad or not. It has to be support though. Good ult here. So here I'm gonna give you a small little trick, right? The first Q here is awesome. The ult here is awesome, right? But the way you play this, right, you can see you have a blue minion here and a Jax here. So you just want to place yourself here and then Q through the minion to hit the stun. To time this, right? But your awareness is not there, right? You just move up and you just look to hit the Q, right? For the damage. When you could have hit through the minion and hit the Jax. That way you get another stun. Doesn't matter in this situation, you still get the kill. But you can see how close it is that he gets away. You shouldn't be clicking away as much as you are here. When we play bot and we itemize like we do here, our HP bar is a resource, we are a tank. Whenever our HP bar is too far up and our teammates around us are dying, it means we are not taking the pressure we are supposed to. So you can see here, right? Caitlyn and Viego is under fire right now. Caitlyn dies and now Viego's the next. we need to be way further into this. Basically, we need to be positioned here right now so we can help both Malzahar and Viego at the same time. So we have the best angles for the Qs. But instead, we are basically positioning us like a Lulu. We are hitting good Qs, that's awesome, but we are not standing in the way of abilities. Right now, we would always want to try to put ourselves between Viego and Thresh to skip, to catch the hook from Thresh. How do we provide a VOD? You can either send it, if you have straight up a POV VOD while you have a recording, then just send it on Discord in the general tab. Then I'll grab it there, Mr. Poop Monster. So be careful of the way you're positioning here, because you're positioning in a way where you're playing an enchanter when you're playing actually a tank, right? We're buying pure tank stats. So our HP bar is a resource we need to remember to use. Thank you, yeah, no problem. Majority of our team just died or reset on the map, and we stayed on the map. That means we have no wards right now, and we're super far in tempo. When Malzahar reset, we should reset as well, so we get back on the map at the same time as him, so we don't have to reset when everyone else on our team is on the map. Because then they die, because they don't have the vision cover they need to have. And that's on you, right? Because you didn't recall when you needed to recall. You can see here now Malzahar is back, and there's no wards or anything, so it's hard for him to actually play. Got a meeting in a bit. Have a wonderful meeting, rep. So if we look at the map state right now, right? There are no objectives on the map. Herald just died. Dragon is dead. Baron is up in 40 seconds. There's tier 2 tower here, tier 2 tower here, tier 2 tower here. Because there's nothing, no objectives down here, but an objective up here in 40 seconds, realistically speaking, we want to try to ward for top and mid side. So we have vision in this area right now. To be able to siege these tier 2 turrets, we need to have a ward here to cover for the flank. Then we need to have a ward here to cover for the flank, and we want to have a ward in this brush as well. So we want to have these 3 brushes warded if we want to siege while also defending the Baron. So this is why you want to locate your wards when you want to push the next up, right? This game is also a great episode of not me being consistent. I've had games from last year where I could have consistently Oko roams and ward placement. But I was more invested into actively thinking of those two. Plus your guides helped a bunch. It is, like, this is 100% the greatest example of a player that are not bad at Bard, but you're not actively thinking about what you or your team needs. Do I give it as a ruffle? So, you either need to have it as a YouTube recording, like where it's uploaded to YouTube as a recording, or you just need to give me the account name so I can just go into the match history and click the download the VOD. One of those two. These like ruffle files and all that shit, I don't do it. I don't work with it. So, Overwolf recording, uploaded on YouTube, or just straight from the match history. So you can see here, right? Generally, you overstay on the map, you don't move to where you're needed at times, and your wards are a bit questionable, right? Like, a ward like this will never help you siege this tower. That ward needs to be pushed further up. When we want to play here, we cannot have wards behind us. Wards always needs to be next to us or in front of us. When we place wards behind us, it indicates that they are defensive wards. And we don't want to have defensive wards when we are in the lead. Because defensive wards doesn't actually help us push our lead further. Another thing that you always have to remember when you're warding though is you can never ward further up than where the minion wave is. So if you can see the minion wave right now, if we just draw a line, right? This is where the minion wave is. You cannot ward further up than this right now. That means if you want to have wards, as we talked about here, here, and here, we have to push this minion wave before we can go for the wards. Because if we try to ward before we are pushing minion wave, it's very likely we just face sick into the enemy and we die. Which is no bueno. But when we push like this and we then click backwards, then we don't take any territory or area. And we just allow them to instant retake. And that is what makes it that low elo is generally very bad at closing out games, because they don't push up vision. They keep just like having this back and forth shit where they just farm waves, and then the only thing that actually ends up games is like random dragon or random baron fight, right? Top lane needs to be pushed. This ward here is fine. This is ward, that's ward, and this ward. These are the 3 wards, right? So we can see here, right? Why does this fight end up being super, super bad? Because we don't have vision over here, so people just jump out of nowhere, and it catches off surprise, right? Because we don't have the vision we needed to have. Educative, that's what we're hoping for, right? That is what we're here for. So you can see, because we didn't have the ward we talked about, this fight is now gonna get ultra bad, right? Then let's talk a bit about the micro part of it, right? Because Bard is actually a champion with insane amount of appeal if we use it correctly. In this fight here, we can see how you use your ult. Not in the greatest way, but you use it, that's fine. But the minute you see this, right? Your first reaction should just be place a Bard portal right here. If we place a portal here, everyone just takes the portal and everyone is in safety, because we create a ton of space between where Thresh is and where everyone else tries to engage from, because we will all instantly get up here. But because we don't place this portal, people are gonna funnel this way, which is always where Thresh is gonna go to towards, right? With his hook. So we are not using a lot of our tool, and it's because you're at a level right now where you're not considering the Bard portal besides anything like an in and out tool for yourself, right? If you start looking at it like you would as it was a Thresh lantern, right? It would be so much easier for you. That when does my teammate need this portal? And then you start building on top of that as well, that it's also a dash, right? Some of your teammates or yourself do not have dashes. So how can we use this portal to reposition ourselves to be in no danger, but also still be able to retaliate if need be? Ah, this Alistair is fucking griefing. They can't do Baron now. That's a bummer. So, what are we itemizing? I like Bending Pipe. We have attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. So Bending Pipe is completely justifiable item to buy here. That's completely fair. The Baron Cold here is super, super duper fine as well. I don't see you buy any Control Lords, by the way. From the minute you upgrade your support item, you should always have Control Lords. This is gold, Merlin. You not having any Control Lords, even though they're only 40 gold, is bad. I know that I've been teaching you all that Control Lords are super expensive, but that was from last year. Since we got the support quest that now makes Control Lords 40 gold, we should always, at minimum, have one Control Lord in inventory. Okay? Since 40 gold is extremely cheap, because most of the time it's going to be used to remove a ward, that ward will give us 30 gold. So Control Lord's value is really only costing you 10 gold. I don't mind this too much, but let's go over this again, right? I don't mind this. They are seed. You killed Yasuo, and they're now gonna push mid lane, and you're gonna try to push top lane, right? This is completely fair. The issue here is that you go melee. Would random go hard here or not? So if we click here, right? Right now, it's a lethality center. Obviously, she will get crit. It's an on-hit Yasuo that is getting crit, and then it's an on-hit Jax with 1 crit. Randuins will do you a lot of good, but how does Frozen Heart sound like? All of these champions are reliable on attack speed, right? With the items they've been building. Frozen Heart, exactly. Frozen Heart helps your team as well, not just you, while Randuin's only helps you. Randuin's is an item that you value higher when they have 2 full crit champions, or if you're the sole tank on your team, aka you are only the frontline. In this game, you do have Olaf and Viego that's also going to take damage because they're frontline, right? That means you have 3 people in frontline versus only 1. Then you would rather go Frozen Heart because it helps your frontline more. What would you say is the best AD carries with Cillian, Lathy? It's a utility AD carry, so long range AD carries are generally the best. Your positioning of going melee here is bad. But I don't think it matters too much. You're going Liandry's here. So Liandry's is not bad into the enemy team, but you have to ask yourself, does my team need damage? Not really, right? Like your teammates have like damage, right? Like your full damage team combi. It's not like you have a tank that doesn't do damage or you have a utility champion that doesn't really do damage, right? You're full damage on your team. So you don't need to do damage yourself. You need to add the survivability. So a Frozen Heart would have done you way more good here than anything else. I like the idea here. You ult and then you want to go for portal, but it's one of those situations where the idea is good, but like the execution is basically impossible, right? We want to play side lanes right now, which means our vision always needs to be close to the tier 2 turrets. And if you can see, our vision right now is all very, very far back. So once again here, we are warding incorrectly, right? Because we want to play this tier 2 turret and we want to play this tier 2 turret. Realistically speaking, that means we want to be 4 people top lane and 1 person bot lane. So all our wards needs to be placed in this area right now. Now, how did you get caught here? You recall, and then you cancel recall, you portal into the fight, and then you just get hooked. You wasted your portal, basically. So that's what coaching normally costs Sienna. Right now, coaching is free. Be better for survivability since they have 2 crit champions. They don't have 2 crit champions right now. Because Randuin's is only valuable when they're guaranteed to crit, right? Right now, you have Senna with 90% crit chance, and you have this dude with 50% crit chance. That means that it's not 100% crit every auto attack. That means Frozen Heart has way more value, because Frozen Heart is always value, while Randuin's is only value when they have 100% crit. So going Randuin's is not going to give you the same payoff as going Frozen Heart. Senna gets crit off of his stacks. He has 108 stacks, so that means he gets 50% crit chance from his stacks. Yeah, but like, she has stacks, right? Like, she gets crit from her passive. And she has 1 full crit item, and then she has a Cloak of Agility as well. Outscale, not really. The Senator have crit at this point, and with a good team on, she's gonna have to deal with half an engaging. A horrible team fight. Mainly because, like, you portal in, so you just die, and, well, Melsa is not here either, right? No need to ult this. You shouldn't chase here. You should never chase here. Instead, you should just try to reclaim vision. You want to get wards over here in this area. This ward is fine, but you need to ward on the other side as well, right? Then you ward here. So you can see how you're placing the same wards over and over. This ward never does anything, because it doesn't actually get their rotations, right? This is a fine ward for early game when you want to ward up the Raptor camp to spot out where the jungler is. But like 30 minutes into the game, this ward is horrible. Yeah, but like that's not a choice he ever has, so it's not something he can control. Kosti. So we are purely coaching the bot. We can't coach the team, right? So we can only coach in the control he has over the game. He has no control over whether his teammates will take an inhibitor or not. But you can see how like he's standing up here, just covering this, while he's playing on the side up here, without having vision for his teammates down here for the dragon. That's a choice he made, that he was not there for the soul fight. Which is obviously bad, right? For the next time, he can consider it and ping teammates off and leave to encourage them to do that in the future. Thoughts? I don't think it's gonna matter. Because it's one of those things, it's the same as when you said about freezing, right? These things do not matter in the elo bracket he's in. If we look at the game and consider that everyone has 100 brain power, right? And we only have 100 brain power and every action costs 5 to 10 brain power. I want him to not focus too much on the things that won't have an immediate impact on his games in the elo we are in, right? Because the things you're saying are not wrong, both with the freezing, both with the inhibitor, but they are not relevant for the games he's going to be in for the next 50 to 100 games. This is something that's 100% will be very important for him in the future when he actually gets higher and higher ranked, because it's suddenly something that's actually going to be a hindrance for him. But for now, we need to use all our brain power on the things that will give immediate results and give him the focus that he needs to focus on, right? I hope that makes sense here. I'm not trying to minimize anyone's like, no, I can actually also concentrate about this. Because like, until it becomes a habit, we have to focus on things. When we then focus on things for long enough, then it becomes a habit and we can start adding things on top of it and 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 on top of it, right? But we have to start from one place. And right now, the biggest things that he needs to take away from this game is kind of his itemization, as I talked a bit about, right? Like, this is not the right item. It's the control wards, it's the warding, it's the when he opens up from the map, when he goes from fountain and then where he goes. He generally goes the wrong place, or during laning phase he always just goes bot lane whether his AD carry needs him or not, and sometimes he leaves the AD carry on a wave that's pushing away from him. These are the things that he needs to put all the brain power towards, because that's why he will get the immediate results when he fixes this. As I said, he is a plat player right now when it comes to how he plays bot, but he's a silver player when it comes how he plays League of Legends, which is why he's perfectly put in gold 3 right now. This is very, like, the matchmaking is perfect for this, right? But if he can fix the macro parts that we're talking about here, he's instantly gonna be a plat player. And then we can start fixing, why are you only a plat player? How can we get you up to emerald? Why are you only an emerald player? How can we get you up to diamond? But like, trying to skip steps are only going to confuse people and going to make it way worse. Yeah, but everything takes a bit of time, so he will have a timers to roam. And those timers are the ones that he just need to learn. So, the only objective we have up right now is Baron and the tier 2 turret top lane. We generally don't want to take inhibitors or push anything in here because there's no towers, right? That means all the wards that we are placing bot side right now is completely incorrect, right? Every ward needs to be placed up here to allow us to get Baron, to allow us to siege the tier 2 turret. This is why we want to put our control and focus on. There's nothing bot side for us to gain right now. The dragon will first be up like in, what, 3-4 minutes, right? Oof. 1 HP living. Reset, reset. Like, this ward makes perfect sense for the enemy team. This ward doesn't make too much sense for you. If you are getting sieged on, you want to have vision here, because you want to have ward for when Thresh stands here to try to hook over the wall. A ward down here does not help you if they are now in a position where they are the one sieging, right? Because it's too far down. When you're defending this turret, the vision needs to be as close to the turret as possible. You can see how you ward this now. That's awesome. This ward down here is bad. Are you coaching, my friend? Yes. If you look at the Twitch title, we're gonna be coaching the next week or so, because League of Legends is doing a hard reset for Apex tiers, which means there's no real incentive for me to play right now, because none of the progress I do right now will carry over when we get to Wednesday next week. So I'm giving back to the community and doing free coaching for anyone who's interested. Yeah, and this is the end of the game. We never reset after we lost our ult and our flash and all of that, and we're super low HP. We had plenty of time resetting. We had plenty of time resetting after we killed the wave, but we decided not to. Yeah, exactly. This is a gigantic micro mistakes, but in the end, I don't think micro mistakes are gonna matter too much. It's all about the biggest issues you have in this game is macro. And I hope you really understand where you need to focus on after we went over this game, and you understand your strong points and your weak points, and what you need to look to work on. Will the reset effect low master? Everyone who is master 0 LP or higher will be reset down to master 0 LP. Both your rank and your MMR. It's a hard reset. On the regions that are EU West, EU Nordic, NA, Turkey, and those. Love to see a cosmic Bard skin. It's my favorite skin, and I would love to know why you feel it's suboptimal. Cosmic skin. The astronaut one is because the way they created the skin with how the particles leaves the body is very bad, and it has like a delay on it compared to when you click the button, which makes timings worse. Alright, that was the first one. Who is interested in having that game looked over? Who is interested in having that game looked over? Thanks a lot. We'll try my best in the next games. And Cosmiday, add me on Discord, okay? If you have any future questions about anything, just reach me out in a private message, okay? You can always do that. I am here for any follow-up. I'm here to help. Me, I am. That's awesome, guys, but like, I need stuff to actually work with. Instead of saying me, give me either a VOD or give me an account name with a score where, like, what game you want me to review. And I need the server as well. If we start with Quentex, what server are you on? NA, amazing.